This time is meant to unearth things so that we can be seen, like we can see them and we can transmute them. And we'll talk about how to do that today. It's giving us information for clearing. So even if it's difficult or hard, which it can be, right? We can acknowledge that. It's a beautiful opportunity. You know, sometimes I laugh at my growth opportunities, right? Okay. So this class, the intention of this class, we're going to teach some really clear energetic hygiene skills, but also talk about sort of some of the dynamics at play. First, we're going to talk about some of the dynamics at play and that particularly get kicked up this season of the year. And talk about why we might feel more triggered, you know, than normal, right? And I find more and more that people who are attracted to my work tend to be energy sensitive, empathic, intuitive, and you don't have to necessarily identify yourself that way. But it's a common theme or a thread that is running through the soul work that I'm noticing people who come to me have. They're just very sensitive to energy. They've grown up very sensitive to energy. They don't, and it can sometimes lead to different patterns of behavior, right? That's okay. So this class is about claiming our own power. This is about taking our own power back so that we can remember that we are not in charge necessarily of other people's behavior, okay? We're not saying that, but that we are in charge of our own energy, our own power, and ultimately our own reality, okay? And sometimes that means people don't get to be in our reality anymore, and that's okay, right? Like sometimes from a place of love, that's what that means. And sometimes that means that person can still be in my reality, but I may need to have really strong boundaries. I may need to decide what's safe for me in order to have this person be in my reality, okay? So that's all. And, you know, when we claim our own power, I want us to think of power as both as both soft and firm, okay? By soft, I mean power that is emanating from who we really are, from our heart center, from our home frequency, and what I would call it is our authentic power, right? This is not power that we get from anything outside of ourselves. This is not power that we earn when we, you know, when we receive some degree, which it's great to get a degree, fine, but that's not the power that I'm talking about. It's not the power that we have from having a lot of money, or which is not a bad thing to have money either. So, you know, let me be clear, but that's not what I'm talking about. This is our own authentic power. And this power is both masculine and feminine. And we have these alchemical, ribbon, you know, that once we observe that we have both aspects, like I'm seeing a gold ribbon and a silver ribbon, and when they're braided together, right, it represents the masculine and the feminine. And we can talk about what each of these aspects within ourselves, and all of us, whether we are female or identify as female, or whether we're male or identify as male, or wherever on the spectrum, right, you are with what you identify as your gender, we ourselves all contain masculine and feminine aspects. And so part of learning to be in our power is we're embodying both aspects. Okay. And so it can be a practice to learn to embody something that hasn't been that strong for you before, right? For me, I'm really working hard on recovering from real serious, just claim it, serious codependency, serious people-pleasing tendencies, never being able to say no, no boundaries. That's the old me, okay? I'm just gonna own my patterns because that's very helpful when we're gonna get more aware of our patterns today. So maybe very, very sick, very, feel like I had no kind of control over my own life. There are reasons those patterns were there, but that's okay, right? So that pattern is neither a healthy masculine or a healthy feminine, but I would identify that as sort of like feminine traits, as like, I'm constantly taking care of everybody. Now, it's not okay to take care of people. It's okay to be loving and kind. It's a good thing, right? But when we're doing it at the expense of ourselves, and, you know, I was driving today, we're doing it at the expense of ourselves, and I heard very clearly to say, you know, there's many people who have healing energy on this call, who are healers in some way, that an exhausted healer serves no one, right? An exhausted, just the exhausted human serves no one, no one. It's not, you're not even serving yourself, right? And so if you fall into that category somewhere along that spectrum of maybe over giving, give until you are just exhausted, it's time to examine, resource, and change, right? So that's the pattern that I'm shifting, but so we're talking about what is actual. I would identify that in my old way as more of like a feminine energy, but it's unhealthy. A healthy feminine energy, we think of the divine feminine as, some people think of it as soft. It's soft yet strong. There is a strength to the feminine that is rebalancing the planet right now, right? And it is not weak by any means, right? That feminine energy is soft, it's strong, it's compassionate, and able to receive, okay? Now, the masculine energy, on the other hand, that energy within ourselves is about completely being in and understanding that we are an aspect of the divine and being in our own power as a vessel of source energy. And so by strength, it's not unhealthy strength. It's not strength over other people, right? It's not power over others, but it's observing this alchemical aspect within ourselves and finding that place of balance, okay? And so I'm mentioning, you know, this today because one of the big things that's happening for many people right now is this aspect of coming into balance of the masculine and the feminine. And that, from that place, is our true and authentic power. Okay. And we'll I just wanted to kind of touch on that because there's a lot healing here. There's a lot healing. Okay. So When we think of energetic hygiene, I'm sorry, I always laugh because I see Saint Germain brushing his teeth in the background. So just have to like laugh as his little jokes. When I think of energetic hygiene, you know, we want to think of this, why do all this for ourselves? You know, what's the point? Well, it's remembering on some level that we are going to be in our power now. We are going to be in our own energy. And it's not that we're not affected by other people's behavior or their energy, because truthfully, we still will be, right? We still will be, but it is knowing that I'm going to be sovereign in my own energy field. I am going to remain in my power. That is not, you know, trying to be, I'm going to remain in my power. I'm going to remain strong yet receptive. It takes a lot of work. And I'm not saying I'm always there yet, right? I'm working on it. It takes a lot of work to have boundaries and still be receptive. It takes work to be strong and clear with what works for our life and still remain soft, right? It's learning that we can find the balance of what works for us anymore. And so everyone on this call is in the process of healing something, right? Something, right? You may not exactly know what it is, but there is a change or a healing happening within you.